Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Niger once again, and this is going to be another tier list. So, with Backlash coming up real soon, I figured it's time that we take a look at the Backlash logos over the years. And there has been more than I expected. And actually, that's not entirely true. I think about as much as I expected, but still somehow more. It's kind of weird, but nevertheless, we got several logos here, several different looks and stuff like that for Backlash. And yes, we also threw in the WrestleMania Backlash, as you can see. But then we got our tiers here. So our top tier, and let me just put the subsections in for these. Starting with our top tier, that's After Mania Feeling, meaning, which is kind of the idea of Backlash and everything, is it's supposed to be that post-Mania fallout. A lot of rematches sometimes from WrestleMania make it on the Backlash. Sometimes the matches are even better on Backlash than they were at Mania. But nevertheless, it's got that after Mania feeling. So that's the top tier, meaning it's a really good looking logo, and you're prepared for some Backlash. Yeah, in a good way. Then we have A tier, meaning maybe not the top tier, maybe not the best logo, but still a good to solid logo. Then you got B tier, which is the middle ground, not great, not horrible, but good or okay. Then you got C tier, or as in like it's very meh, it's very and one or two things keeping it from the bottom at the barrel. It's almost at the bottom, and at the bottom is caused some backlash, or you know what, I'm gonna do causing some backlash, meaning it's a terrible logo so much that there's literal backlash to it. Can you tell I kind of came up? Can you tell I was kind of having difficulty coming up with some of the names for the tiers this time around? But without further ado, let's get right into it, I suppose. Starting with 1999, and for a while, well, the concept of like Big Four / Big Five does kind of go back. Heck, as I was reading, this is around obviously that time where they were kind of starting to get away slowly from like the in your house type events, and really the in your house events were put in place essentially to be kind of stopgaps and be kind of extra little events in between like the bigger stuff, like the big four, that being WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and Royal Rumble. Well, and the reason I kind of say big five because Backlash was a constant as well. Like sometimes the rest of the shows would kind of change lineups. Some of them stuck, some of them didn't, but Backlash was that constant. As for this logo, this one is admittedly a bit I'm admittedly kind of at crossroads here. Or like on one hand, I kind of get the idea it's supposed to be kind of chaotic and a bit on that edgy side because we are still in the thick of the Attitude Era. So we have the logo kind of to reflect it. It's kind of all over the place. Like it's kind of like some of the layers are up, some of the layers are down. It's kind of in like it almost feels like thrown together or kind of held together, and then the S is backwards or it's there. So I get that idea, but it also does look kind of weird. Or I don't know if I'm a really big fan of this one. So you know what, this might be controversial, but while I don't think it's the bottom of the bin, I can kind of get what they're going for. I think I do have to at least put it at C. I'm not really feeling that one, but maybe that's just me. But then next up is Backlash 2000, and kind of like this font that we have for Backlash is kind of the font that they would go with moving forward, and they would be variations, and we've seen that when we've done previous like logo based tier lists. If you haven't already, go check out some of my other logo based tier lists, such as like the aforementioned Big Four. But this is essentially the lettering that they're using for that, and it does give it that kind of edge. Literally, there's the edge down there, but then there's this piece in the back. I think is that supposed to be a bone? And I'm not entirely sure, but the lettering does look pretty cool, and as we mentioned plenty of times when we do these tier lists, sometimes less is more, and I think it does kind of work. Like, excuse me, not a whole lot going on, but the lettering and then the back with like the glowing effect behind it to kind of illuminate it, and then the random bone in the back I think does give it that little bit of pop. So So I don't know if I want to put it in C, but I don't think I can give it any more than a B. So we'll at least give it a B there. But then next up is Backlash 2001. So kind of going off the similar basis of design with like the lettering and stuff. Not as much of the glow this time around. And then kind of down here, I think these parts down here are supposed to reflect that kind of like the hook design that we have going for like the A's and the Backlash logo there. Otherwise, I think it looks okay. Hey, almost a little too basic, but I think it at least gets the job done. So I think that one is also like a B, but it's also kind of a low B. He like just barely a B, in my opinion. Like something. I think like hey the thing is part of me wants to do like kind of low B's, like stuff that you kind of want to put in B, but you don't necessarily think you want to put in like the upper B. So you're kind of debating whether or not it goes in B. But then there'd be I'd have to do it for the other tiers, and then there'd be way too many. So I figure I wouldn't. But it's circumstances like that. Then next up is 2002, who's Backlash logo. The glow effect is back. Like this time, I'm a little too bright. For some reason, it reminds me of like the Deus Ex logo, like the OG Deus Ex games, like the ones that came out for like the PS2 and stuff like that, or I think it was PS1, PS2. I could look it up later, not because I'm gonna forget later. So, also something I'll probably talk about tomorrow. But we have got new tag team titles. Also new tag team title design, so I'll probably talk about that. Yeah, this came out for the PS2. In fact, I'll probably pull it up on the screen here. I probably should have did that. But kind of not like the newer ones, like Human Revolution, Mankind Divided, even though those are also considered kind of old, but more so like this one, like the glow effect and stuff like that, and even like this kind of hook design. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting with this one. I don't know if that was intentional, if that was the idea behind it and everything. Oh, I forgot Deus Ex was made by Ion Storm. But anyway, I'm not sure if that's necessarily what they're going for. That's kind of what it reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of like that 2000s. Less a little bit of that 2000 cheese, but a lot more of that 2000s edge, like a bit edgy in that, and with like the glow and stuff like that. Kind of like the 2000s, I feel like does kind of have its own flavor when it came to things, and that's kind of what I'm getting at here. That being said, I don't think it's necessarily bad. I don't know. I have no idea what that's supposed to be, but otherwise, I think I'll at least. I think I'll at least put it in B. I'll at least give it that. But then next up is Backlash 2003, and a little bit more going on in the background. Now we have an actual background to it. It's all like 3D and stuff like that. Again, hence the backdrop. And I think it looks pretty okay for the most part. I think these are supposed to be kind of like the A, like the hook and stuff, kind of similar to with the A there. But otherwise, I think it looks pretty decent, or like pretty okay. So, I think I'll at least put it in B. Yeah, so I think I'll at least put it in B. But then next up is Backlash 2004. Holy brightness, Batman, and that is way too bright. Maybe that's just the image. Maybe I picked a bad image, but that's way too bright. But also to find these structures kind of interesting going on in the background here. But man, that is super bright. Hey, but otherwise, this one I'll at least put in B. Yeah, I'll put in B. But geez, somebody turn the brightness down. My goodness. But then next up is Backlash 2005. I've this one. I also kind of like the hook designs, almost like dual curved razors. I think that's kind of cool. but it also kind of does scream 2000s a little bit. But I do like them wrapping around. That is kind of cool. Oh, but this glowing effect in the lettering is kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I don't really like how that's done on there. So this one I probably gotta put in. You know what? I'm gonna put this one in B as well. I debate on whether or not putting it in C, but I think I'll be generous. I'll put it in B. But then next up is 2006, going red this time around. And I think between the blue and the red, I think for once the red, ironically, red is a warmer color, blue is like a cooler color, but yet somehow the red here I think is a bit easier on the eye. Maybe it's because the blue usually has a lot of like the glowing and stuff going on, but the red doesn't have any of that, so it's a bit easier on my eyes. I got the 3D effect that got popping out and everything, which I think is kind of cool. And it's got this stuff, excuse me, in the background. Maybe it's a shift in color and that's not glowing as much, but I think I'm gonna have to put it in A. But then next up is Backlash 2007. Here's Adam. Yeah. So, obviously, like the logo itself is kind of plain Jane, but like Edge peering through the wall there is what really makes us pop, and Edge looking very creepy and stuff like that. You know, it kind of gives that pop. So I might, something about it. I might have to go A. Something about it. Made that pop and everything. Also, just know I am totally unqualified to make that joke because I've never actually seen The Shining. But nevertheless, next up is Backlash 2008. So, the razor is back, or at least the one razor into like the hook, and then it's got like the red and stuff, and kind of adding a blackish almost tint to it. It looks pretty cool, but it also looks kind of weird. But I do also like the kind of this I think warping perhaps is the word I'm looking for. This kind of warping effect going throughout, and I do like how the red is also incorporated through the razor and stuff like that. This one I think this one I might this one I probably got to put in. Yeah, this one's gonna go in B. I think I'll at least put this in B. But then next up is Backlash 2009. Kind of a weird one. I'm not gonna lie. I think the idea is it's supposed to be like maybe a lightning effect. I'm not sure if it's a lightning effect or a tree effect, but the way it's incorporated, I think, does look a little weird. Or maybe it's a web effect. I have no idea, but it does look pretty strange. Not really. I usually try to appreciate the intention, but this time I don't even know what the intention is. So I'm sorry, but this one is causing some backlash. I do not really like that. It looks really weird. Like, do I want to put it in the bottom? Yeah, because it's a little too much. Like it's somehow basic, but also somehow confusing. Like it's too much and too little. That's a definitely weird combination. But next up is 2016. Yeah, they didn't have a Backlash event for a while after this one, and I wonder if the logo had something to do with it. I doubt it. But nevertheless, moving into 2016, we got a new logo. Here. Of course, Backlash was reintroduced as a SmackDown exclusive show. This was after the second brand split. And of course, you got the main man. He was, I think, the WWE champion at the time, Dean Ambrose. The logo, the new logo, I think it's okay. Like putting a lot of emphasis on the L, making that kind of like spark out, have like the spark out effects, hex and stuff like that, having kind of the fade out effects. But then also having Dean in the gray, but then his eyes being blue, who I think is also a pretty cool touch. But otherwise, I think I'll probably put it in B. Yeah, I think pretty cool. It's almost like almost sometimes less is more, being somewhat subtle with like the blue and stuff like that, while also keeping it predominantly white and gray. I think white, black, and gray. That is, I think, is a nice touch. But then next up is 2017. And they have a action shot for Shinsuke Nakamura, and I think that's pretty cool. And there's some type of lettering right there, but I can't tell what it is. But having like the same logo, but then having the red in the background for Shinsuke Nakamura. I know this is when Shinsuke Nakamura, around like when he was first called up, but they should have at least have it blue or like black or something like that. Even though the blue on red is cool, but for like the brand distinction. Although, I know for some people brand distinction makes them want to vomit just a little bit. But if you're gonna commit to the brand split, at the very least commit to it. But as for this one, the action shot does. I do give it props for the action shot and having like the spark effects. I think this one effects that they have here is supposed to be what this one was supposed to be, but I think this one wasn't really realized. But having that on there, I think it's pretty decent at least. So I'll at least give it a B. But then next up is Backlash 2018. This was when it became co-branded, and this happens to be probably one of the worst Backlash events of all time. That's probably why they didn't do one for 2019. But yeah, we're not here to talk about the event, but the event was. It was rough. It was rough. Like, your event is great when there's a beat the traffic chant. Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns are battling each other. But nevertheless, as for this one, and I do think it's pretty cool, like having the red and blue spark effects, because as this is when they started doing dual branded pay-per-views where Raw and SmackDown were on the same pay-per-view, having like the red and the blue, having like the blue back ash there, and then having the L be red. It's represent Raw. I think was pretty cool. So you know what? I really like how this one's designed. So we'll at least give it. We'll give this one an A. The event, if we're judging it based off the event, which I don't do because that wouldn't be fair. If we're judging it based off the event, it's obviously causing some backlash. But as for the logo, I think I'll give it an A at least. It does what it set out to do, and I do like the colors going on and like the shootout effect. I think it's pretty cool. But then next up is the 2020 Backlash event. The greatest wrestling match ever. That's debatable. I probably should go back and watch that match to determine if it truly is the greatest wrestling match ever. They obviously are referring to Edge versus Randy Orton. Wow, that's the second Edge reference in this video. But nevertheless, as having the sign and saying and the greatest wrestling match ever, and then having the Backlash logo there completely in the red, even though I think SmackDown was on the show as well. But nevertheless, having that on there, and then having the sign as well, I think is what really brings it to life. But otherwise, I'll at least put it in. B. I think it's just okay. But then next up is WrestleMania Backlash 2021. Yeah, this was when they were doing the WrestleMania Backlash kind of thing. It's essentially the WrestleMania logo, and then they just threw Backlash down there. Here, we already did a WrestleMania tier list, so if you haven't already, go check that out. And but as for this one, like the WrestleMania logo, I think this WrestleMania logo I put in A. And then with the Backlash doesn't really take away from it. So this one I'll also, I think I'll also put in A. Or wait, which one did I put that under? Actually, let me check real quick. I'm gonna check where I put that under. And I'll probably do that for the 2022 logo as well, because it's essentially just the same logo, but then with the Backlash under it. So wherever I put the top one, wherever I put that one in my WrestleMania tier list, I'll just replicate in here. Although the 2022 one kind of also has its own thing going on. The WrestleMania logos tier list. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Let's see. Where did I put WrestleMania 37? Oh, wow. Okay, I put 37 in Grandest of them all. Oh, that was the top tier for that one. So, I guess this. I forgot I put it up there, but I forgot to put that up. So I guess this one's given that Aftermania feeling, I guess. But then this next one, like I mentioned, because WrestleMania 38 is B. This one's also gonna go in B. But I do also like its own thing going on, like the fireworks and stuff like that, and then like the. Then the lights and stuff like that. I think this was the only event I missed from, from 2022, and I forgot exactly why. I think because it was like a week after Mania, but nevertheless, this one's also gonna go in B because it's pretty much just the other WrestleMania logo, but with the Backlash attached. But I do like how it's red for this one and blue for the other one. But then next up is the 2023 Backlash logo. This one's pretty cool. I like the red and the blue, and then with the Puerto Rican flag, because we were in Puerto Rico. This was obviously the logo from last year, so I think that's pretty cool. And having like the shootout effects is going throughout. I think that is pretty solid. It's so this one. You know what? I really like this one, so I'll give it an A. And then last, but certainly not least, Backlash France 2024 and this one, I do like with like the blue and the white and the red, and then kind of showing the crowd. I'm sure it definitely will be that size when Backlash France takes place. But otherwise, as I think I'll put this one in B. Nothing too crazy, but I do also like how things are integrated. So that one I'm gonna put in B. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. So for the Aftermania feeling, we have WrestleMania Backlash 2021. Then A tier we have 06, 07, 2018, and 2023. In B tier we have 2000 through 2005. Then we have 2008. Then 2016 and 2017. Then 2020. Then WrestleMania Backlash from 2022, and then Backlash France from 2024. And then in C tier we have the 1999 logo, and the 2009 one was causing some backlash. And admittedly, I think I was a little harsh on that logo, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications. So every time I upload a video, you can see Caesar drops, and let me know in the comments what your thoughts on my rankings here. Do you agree or disagree? And of course, these are all my opinions. So if you disagree with any of these, that is completely fine. And what is your favorite? What's your favorite Backlash? What's your favorite Backlash logo? And are you excited for Backlash this year? And who do you think is going to be on the card? The official card isn't final just yet, but it's slowly coming together. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace.